Now back to you, Peter.
McGee, thank you. Still in Lower Manhattan tonight, more controversy with the Ground Zero Mosque and Cultural Center. This time, it's not protesters getting in the way, but it's the bill collectors. There may be no fury like the bill collector scorned. And when Con Ed is your bill collector, you pay up or risk getting cut off. That's the dilemma now facing Park 51. You remember the controversial so-called Ground Zero Mosque and Cultural Center, now renamed the Prayer Space, that triggered a storm of public protests like these by people outraged at the location's proximity to Ground Zero. The whole thing was planned as a 15-story, $100 million cultural center in Lower Manhattan, but not so fast. Electric utility Con Ed owns part of the property and, according to an exclusive report in today's New York Post, suddenly raised the rent on that portion they own from $2,750 a month to over $47,000 a month, retroactive to July 31st, 2008. That would mean Park 51 owes the power company a whopping $1.7 million, and if they don't pay it, could be lights out for the prayer space for good. Good news for people behind anti-mosque ads like this.
This mosque, it's wrong.
The paper reveals the developer didn't pay up, so Con Ed hit them with an eviction threat. The Post quotes developer Sharif El-Gamal as calling Con Ed's demand outrageous, telling the paper, quote, whether it is bowing to political pressure or seeking to retain the valuable premises for itself, Con Ed appears intent on proceeding with its wrongful termination. The paper says the developer got a court order to temporarily prevent Con Ed from terminating their lease. And the next court date in that case is going to be on November 17th. Now, in update from the PIX 11 news desk, a Mount Arlington police officer was killed Sunday morning after being hit by a driver who was under the influence. Officer Joseph Wargo was on duty while driving east on Interstate 80 shortly after 12 midnight. Michael Casella, who was driving east on 80, lost control of his car and crashed into Wargo. Wargo was flown to Morristown Memorial, where he was pronounced dead. He leaves behind a wife. Police are on the hunt for a man terrorizing women in Queens. You're looking at what the police believe the suspect looks like. He's wanted in the rape of a 20-year-old woman. The incident occurred around 2 a.m. on Thursday when the man threatened the woman with a box cutter, forced her into a dark, empty area, and raped her. Friends of Barbara Sheehan don't want to see the woman go to prison. She's from Queens, and they came to Howard Beach tonight to show their support. Sheehan wasn't there. She's in jail until she can be sentenced on a gun charge. Sheehan was acquitted of murder for killing her husband after years of abuse. Tonight, her friends expressed strong feelings that Sheehan did what she had to do.
What he got was too good. I would have did another job on him. I would have cut him open. I would have cut his face open. I would have hung him and then called everybody in Howard Beach to see what I did to him. You got to know what this is about and walk in that shoe. Nobody knows until they go through something like this.
Sheehan faces up to 15 years in prison for the gun charge when she is sentenced next month. People on Manhattan's Upper East Side are taking a stand against big money developers. They're trying to save a playground on East 93rd Street. The gates are locked now that developers plan to build a high-rise. But neighbors say parks are too scarce there already, and they want the city to get the property back for public use.
This nation, this city, this community has been taken advantage of for far too long. We will no longer stand idly by while greed tries to destroy our community, much less take away Rupert Playground.
The developer has owned this property for the past 28 years. Calls for comment have so far gone unreturned. Now a look at what's happening across the country and overseas. This weekend, the victims of last week's massacre in Seal Beach, California, were remembered. 8 people were shot to death in a salon. Police have charged 41-year-old Scott Dekrai with killing his ex-wife, along with the 7 other victims. Prosecutors plan to seek the death penalty. He is being held in protective custody without bail. Dirty diapers found in an abandoned home this weekend, maybe those of missing baby Lisa Irwin. Police say the backpack of soiled diapers and baby wipes was reported to officers Saturday evening. It was found at a home in that area, near that area. Family and friends, as of today, say the National Guard have been rigorously searching there since the infant disappeared almost 2 weeks ago. Now, to the story you're looking at there, the romance is blooming in the Occupy Wall Street protest movement. An Ohio couple had their wedding photos taken at one of these sympathy demonstrations in Cincinnati. Bride and groom spent the last several nights before their nuptials sleeping in a public park. They say they wanted to use their special day to honor the populist movement.
We thought this was such a tremendously fun backdrop, and what a way to remember the time that we're getting married.
And to bring attention to what's going on here. It's so great to be able to use this opportunity in that way.
And the bride even says that she would still be out there protesting corporate greed if she didn't have other plans for the weekend. And that brings us to number 11, and 11 is weather. Let's check in with Craig Allen.